What is going on, guys? We are back with another Apex Legends ranked video. Today, we're doing the breakdown you guys have all been asking for. So, to get started, when we're in the dropship, basically what we're doing is we're always looking to see where teams are going. There's 6 people in the dropship right now, so we know we're pretty much free anywhere on this side of the map, which in Kings Canyon, you can't really say you're free because the POIs are just so close together. But in this sense, like you can see, we're really free. And we're planning on heading over to the southeast side of the map so that way we can go over there and fight whatever going on, because there was literally like at least 40% of the dropship jumped on that side of the map. And I guess that would be like probably the first tip here when it comes to playing ranked on this map, is just understanding like where teams are landing. Because if you can figure that out, ultimately like you're already going to be ahead of the race when you're rotating this map. A lot of people don't know, because they're so new to it, that the POIs are close. Like we were looking, and most POIs are anywhere from like 100 to like maybe 350, 250 meters, which that's pretty close to like get from POI to POI, like even if it's a no-name one. But yeah, that's definitely the first tip here, is make sure you see where teams are landing, because like we're taking our time looting this, but if let's say it's a really good team and they're really fast at looting, and there's a team that's 200 meters away from you, they're going to catch you off guard when you guys are closing toward your rotation and you guys are done looting your POI. So that's definitely a tip, is pay attention, know where teams are landing, and understand where you're rotating after that as well. Okay, so the next tip is going to be that you do not have to shoot at and fight every team you see. We see a team right here, and I'm still on white armor. My teammates are on blue. These guys left a blue in the pill up here. So you can already tell that they're going to be on a better armor situation than we are, which, again, like, why not just keep putting the odds better in your favor by just, like, not starting that fight? And there's about 3 teams up here fighting with each other. So if we just let this team pass, they get into a worse position. We take their better position, because for some reason on Kings Canyon, people just do not care about their positioning. They just solely worry about being able to third party, which is like, not only is it horrible for the game, and obviously it's just part of it, but it ends up putting another team in a better situation. So the tip for this part of this video is going to be, it's going to be a couple tips. So make sure you got your pen and paper. It's going to be, 1, make sure you do not put yourself in a worse position to third party. That is like the #1 thing that so many bad teams do. Like, yes, we gave up our back, but we also know that there's no other teams on that side of the map right now. Like, again, from the first tip, because we saw where everyone landed. So we know that clearing out our rotation to get to this fight and third party this ultimately was just going to be in our favor if we didn't go down and we didn't lose, right? Like, so that's definitely going to be like a very, very major tip when it comes to playing ranked, especially on this map, because of how close the POIs are. Like, already there's probably another team inbound, which I'm pretty sure there is, and that's just something that you have to be like on the go for. Like, you get a quick fight, you clean it up quick, and if you don't, you put yourself in a better position. There's so many different angles that you guys can play in this game, to where if a fight is getting stalled out, make sure you've got your back to a certain spot to where you're just not going to catch that third party.
There was another team behind us on my ping.
You just love those games where you have like max KP but minimal damage.
Those are the best.
4 KP with 130 damage.
That is something else. That's next level.
Yeah, I got 3 with 230. You guys want to go back in there and loot? loot? Wait, was that just one, two, three man?
Yeah, 3 for 3.
They're gonna. I think they need loot, honestly.
They're walking up us, dude. These
I'm just not trying to.
All right, so our next tip is
Bloodhounds are
going to be
good.
don't be afraid if you are a Bloodhound player or have a Bloodhound on your team
To labs.
to use them to scan ahead and get ahead of everyone. I know that there's always going to be ult excels everywhere. There's charge towers everywhere. There's charge towers in this rotation that I'm okay to pop Hound, burn my Hound ult, and just make sure that there's no teams in the compound so we don't get caught off guard because a lot of people like to rat.
Nice.
So even this, like I'm peeking over the forest, no one's around me, boom. Gonna hit the beacon really quick. And that's just like, a lot of people think that's a waste, but ultimately what I just did was make sure no one's in the forest ratting, no one's in our buildings ratting, and again, I ended up having an ult excel, and then I find another ult excel as well that Tryhard had told me was in there. So
Good to see all you guys.
it's just, don't be afraid to use your ults to get ahead for your rotations. It helps a lot, and you'll get them back. Like, it's better to have used an ult than to die not using one.
Or 2 dubs today.
Okay, so we know where the zone is pulling. So one thing that you want to think about while the zone is closing, especially with this map, is sometimes playing center zone isn't always going to be your best option just because you know where the zone is pulling. You don't really want to just stand in the center of the zone because then you kind of become the focus of everyone rotating in.
Sorry, I like swapped
A lot of players don't understand how to play zone, so ultimately what they end up doing is everyone becomes an edge team. So when they're all rotating in, they end up just losing sight of, oh hey, there's other teams around me, I don't have to just rush into the middle and kill one. So that's going to be a big tip there. And another thing is you're going to get these teams that just int you for no reason because they don't understand how to play this game. And this team was definitely one of them. I really don't know why they pushed so hard. Like, it just was not a good push. But that's just going to be the thing that you have to be prepared for. It's just a bad team to make a dumb decision and push you. And you can see I called out some shots there, just making sure my teammates know, like, hey, I was getting shot at from somewhere. We seen where the location was, and now I'm just kind of scouting around, making sure, hey, like, I don't see anything. And I may not say anything like, hey, I'm looking around right now, there's no one, but I would comment, and my teammates trust me enough to calm that if I did see somebody. So that's definitely going to be your next tip, is make sure you understand when you fight, you have to be waiting for the next team coming already. So for me, I've always done this since I was in business, and for everything that I ever do, especially when it comes to video games, is you want to be thinking like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. Like, okay, we just fought. We need to get out of this POI. We need to be looking for another team coming, and we need to end this fight quick. Make sure my teammates are healthy. Make sure I've got all my loot, and let's go. And we're staying here a little bit longer than usual because there's only 5 squads left. But typically on this map, for some reason, there's been 10 squads left in this zone, which it's, you know, it makes it for a fun time. But at the same time, it is something really annoying to try to combat in such a small, weird zone with like only one height the entire time, and everyone else can be stuck on low ground. But that's the next tip for sure. All right, so our next tip is going to be about the gold helmet. You can see Imp gave me the gold helmet there. The zone's closing, and we're not really sure where everyone is. And as Bloodhound, I want to keep these scans going for my teammates as quick as I can. So that's why he tossed me the gold helmet. Super late game, like if this zone closes, I don't really care about having scans because I can see everything. But you definitely would want to give it to the Gibby because ultimately he's going to be the one that is able to get that bubble quick and be able to bubble himself faster on these little small rotations, and also be able to bubble his teammates quicker if they need it. But unfortunately, our Gibby goes down right there. Maybe if he had the gold helmet, the bubble would have came out, but also we probably would not have seen this team coming with another scan and been able to scan consistently in that fight. So that's definitely It's a W for me and kind of an L for him, but just kind of it is what it is. Give Bloodhound the gold helmet while you're making these rotations and allow him to scan forward for you.
Might be able to snag us.
So luckily, Importance had a mobile respawn on his body. So even though there's a res right there and the zone's closing, you don't always want to have to like panic to get the res at the next res beacon to bring your teammates in. Sometimes you're just going to be able to like throw a res beacon down in the zone, throw a heat shield on top of it, and you'll be fine. Especially right now, the reses are busted, so some teams, especially if it's in the zone, because we know we can't see anything in the zone, some teams are not going to hear that or see it. I really don't know the ins and outs of that mechanic that has now been like pretty common, so I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what Apex or Respawn tweets out about that. But yeah, we called the Mobian.
He's on your height.
I'm just working this team. Team's just getting to work, baby. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we end up basically just taking this team out, and then still like the res is open inside zone, but again, like we have 4 squads left. I don't know where anyone is. I don't have a scan for 10 seconds. I'm sure there's one team on height here. They just killed a rat, and it's a much smarter play for him to just heat shield out in the zone, call the Mobian, get healthy, and then Imp can land on his loot in zone again. And most teams, because the respawns are broken right now, they will never know where that's coming from. So that's basically why it's not always the smartest to just throw down res just because you have a res station in zone. Res beacons are your friend. Heat shields are your friend. Even though they're super res beacons, mobile respawns, even though the heat shielding in the zone is super annoying, it can be super tactical and useful. Do not be afraid of the zone. Start learning how to become one with the zone. I'm just kidding. But the more that you do get comfortable with the zone, the more bigger and better brain plays you can make by not being afraid to rotate in them. And those are my tips for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section on what you want to see in the next video. Love you guys.
This guy's just fucking triple L stars.
Fried the hunt.
What happened?
What a dumbass. Black Hunt's got down up here. Solo got clear everything.
Wait, these guys are super split too. You stun that guy?
Wait.
They're all swinging. I'm grabbing this height right here.
Cracked rave.
She's behind the tree. Nice. Walking up.
Is that a knock on both teams?
No, 2 on 1.
Just make sure she doesn't have self-res, because the other team's right there in that hallway.
Energy ammo or?
Nice. W.
It was a solo that griefed them?
Yep. Hey, actually got second for it. Third for it. I'm pretty sure the full team.
Sure. Thank God, bro. I needed that. Dude, who was the Pathfinder? Because that was not hierarchy. I want to know who that was.
That was hierarchy. Trust.
Oh, who was the other guy?